Hi, my name is Ginny, and this is Bisaya in America, a podcast. So, I often have been asked what my ethnicity is. So, people are not too sure what my ethnicity is. To most Filipinos, it's pretty obvious I'm a Filipino, but we know each other. But the Americans and some blacks, I think just Americans in general, and whether they be Latino, black, or white, they're really confounded about my ethnicity, and they always some of them are very straightforward, and some of them are ask me directly, like, what are you? So I have really strange reactions to, usually if they're in their 70s and they're older, and then I tell them that I'm Filipino, they most likely will know, like, oh yeah, especially if they're veterans and if they have been deployed overseas, they will know what a Filipino is. And unfortunately, some people, they just don't know. So I often get asked this question, and like, where are you from? Like, what's your ethnicity? And it's really, sometimes I'm just tempted to put a tape on my forehead that says I'm Filipino, I'm from this island and stuff, Google me or something like that. And it feels like so strange that people are just, Americans most especially, are just confounded. Like, they're like, whoa, she's from another country, and it's like, dude, yeah. Yeah, I'm here anyway. But I have had mixed reactions sometimes, not so pleasant encounters, and sometimes pleasant encounters, but I dwell on the pleasant ones. I was like working in New York City before, and I do home health, so I do home visits and stuff. So I visit people's apartments and stuff in New York City, Manhattan. Anyway, I was waiting for the bus, and then this woman approaches me, and she asks me, like, I think she was Hispanic, but more like white Hispanic, and she asked me, like, what are you? And I'm like, huh? She said, what are you? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean? And she said, what are you? Like, and so I finally got it. She was asking for my ethnicity. I said, I'm Filipino. And she said, oh, wow, that's nice. You're beautiful. So at least that was a good encounter, And I noticed that the Hispanics, they're more generally not all of them, like maybe 80% are generally, it's a pleasant encounter with them, because they're like, oh, that's nice. And then there was this guy, so I was in a patient's home or apartment, and he was Hispanic guy. And when he saw me, he said, oh, you're Filipina. I love your people. I have my friends are Filipino. And he kissed the back of my hand. And I don't know if he was being charming or whatever. It was really the strangest reaction. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go with it. But it was pleasant, because he said, oh, I love your people. Your people are the best. So, which is good, And I also get this from my patients that are white, and are like, oh yeah, there's a lot of nurses that are Filipinos, and then it's like, or I also get like, yes, they work in the cruise ships. There's a lot of Filipinos working in cruise ships, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go with that too. But I think one of the rudest, it wasn't really rude. It was kinda, I guess, a little rude. Someone was just asking me, like, what are you? Where are you from? I'm like, I'm from the Philippines. And why are you here? I'm like, what? It's such a rude question to ask. I could have asked her too, like, what are you doing here too? Why are you here? I'm just here. So I don't know why, but like, America is not the world. Like, it is not the center of the universe. There's like, I think, I don't know, almost 200 countries, 190 plus countries. I don't really know. I should Google that to fact check it. But there's almost 200 countries, if not more. I could be wrong. Maybe I should just Google that. How many countries? So let's ask Siri. Hey Siri, How many countries are there in the world?
There are 195 countries in the world today.
Oh, I was always right. Almost right. I said 190 plus, or almost 200, or whoever. Yeah, so okay, that's good. Now I know. So there's 195 countries. Basically, I thought there was just 192, man. So anyway, there's 195 countries, and yeah, there's a world outside of America, and people travel. We have feet. We have modes of transportation. There's cars, there's airplanes, there's boats, there's ships. So people travel. And just because you were born there doesn't mean you have to stay there, right? I'm pretty sure that 90% of the Americans, or the I mean all of the white Americans, they didn't come from America in the first place. They were from Europe, or yeah, mostly Europe. Anyway, who knows? They could have been from somewhere else too, but mostly Europe, if not, Europeans. They're of European descent, and, they're not originally from America, and the original Americans are the indigenous people, the Native Americans. They own the land. And, unfortunately, there's land grabs and power struggles and, conquistadors or people that just want to rule the land and the people. But so yeah, so I'm off track now. So people travel, people have feet, people have legs, people don't want to get stuck in one place all of the time, and people migrate. And they have every right to migrate. If they don't like the weather where they were born at, if they don't like snow, they can go to the tropics. If they are tired of the tropics like me, and I wanted to experience something different, so I moved to America. And I moved from the northeast to the west and to the southwest, and now I'm in Texas, which is technically, they wanna secede from America, or whatever that means. But yeah, they're part of America whether they like it or not. But anyway, yeah, it's just that weird reaction, and I feel like, that no one's ever seen a Filipino before. Yeah, most likely not. We're just a group of we're just 100 million people, in the southeast of Asia. And anyway, so the worst reaction that I had was, I'm not going to name the name of the place or the state, but anyway. So they have, obviously, a lot of the people there, especially the women, have not seen women that look like me, like brown skin, weird eyes, probably, and black hair. And I looked really ambiguous. I look almost Asian, but not really Asian, because I'm mixed with, who knows what I'm mixed with. And so, but mostly look Asian, and then they're like, And then I think the worst one was when I did an evaluation, they didn't want to take my evaluation because the child didn't qualify, for something like a service. And then that lady was mad, and I felt that part of it was prejudice and stuff, because I just followed the book, and the child didn't pass, because the child was running around. I can't qualify someone that's running around, you know what I mean? But anyway, so yeah, and I felt so uncomfortable during the entire thing, because she was just looking and staring at me, and especially the other one too was just staring at me the whole time, like they have never seen someone that looks like me. But unfortunately, people just, whether you like it or not, they just look weird in your eyes because you've never seen someone with certain facial features, or features like dark hair, brown skin. That's, maybe you're not used to that, but doesn't mean that that variation of human doesn't exist somewhere in the planet. And unfortunately, I happen to be there in front of them. Yeah, so yeah, it is a mixed bag. And yeah, and I'm just letting it slide because my friend told me, who's Filipino, he said, like, you're too sensitive, just let it be. They're not used to seeing people that look like us. Just let it be, let it slide. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, but there's really no excuse. Google us, Filipinos. They're like, yeah, Google us. We exist. But yeah, and but I'm really delighted that some people, their reaction always when you say you're Filipino, it's mostly positive, except one time where they were saying like, yeah, we know a Filipino, but he was rude. I'm like, so? Like, I'm not related to that Filipino. And then that's just one Filipino that that was rude. You know what I mean? It was pretty weird. And like, yeah, we do know your people, but there was this one rude, and he was like full of himself and stuff like that. I'm like, and so, yeah, right, I'm not responsible. I don't know the guy, and I'm not responsible for his behavior for a guy I don't know. And he could have been any race. If he was a douche, he's a douche in any other culture. Or yeah, there's unfortunately, there's people that are just outliers. They're just mean. They're not nice. And although Filipinos are mostly known to be nice and pleasant people, we generally are, just don't cross us. Anyway, we generally are. We're like mild-mannered people. We're like Clark Kent. But then if you mess with us, no, we're passive-aggressive. Anyway, yeah, just because like one of my people out of 100 million people, there's one douche bag that you happen to have encountered doesn't mean that I have anything to do with it, or the rest of the people, 100 million strong, are supposed to be responsible for their behavior. So that's the thing about like yeah, that was pretty weird generally. But at least like they did say like, oh yeah, but there's this other Filipino that's cool and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, but it's just weird. And then one time, like, my coworker was saying, like, why don't you call the Asians, like, your brother or your sister? I'm like, because I don't know them. And not all Asians, we're not related to each other. Like, there's 4 billion Asians. I don't think we're all related to each other, I think. I don't know. Or should we? And that's the thing, because like Asia is huge. We look different, although people think we look the same, but we look different. We have different cultures, different languages, different histories, and we don't all get along. And there's like 4 billion of us in that Asian region or whatever. We're not supposed to be besties. I mean, I'm not besties with a random stranger I just met, and I'm not. It's like sometimes we get clumped together, and then I don't know. It's just messed up. But I can laugh it off. But it's like, yeah, because when I came to America, I was like very open-minded and open to the possibility that it's supposed to be the melting pot of America, and there's other different cultures, different people. Not everybody's white. People who are Hispanic, not all of them are from Mexico. There's people from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Peru, or other regions in South America and stuff. So not Venezuelan. So yeah, so not everybody is the same. We all come from different cultures, but yeah, I'm ranting again. But it's just that it just amazes me when people are surprised that I'm Filipino, or that I'm surprised that Filipinos exist, or whatever. I don't even know how to describe it. We exist. We're here. We're 100 million strong and growing. And we look kind of weird. Like, we're not your typical Asian. We're not like, some of us have fair skin, but most of us are brown. And our eyes, some have like, most of us don't really have like tiny eyes. Like, we just have like googly eyes. I have like really large eyes anyways. But yeah, so we are Asian, but we are more than Asian as well. We have our different identity and we have our different culture, our different history, and we're mixed with other cultures as well, and Spanish, the native people in the Philippines, and mixed with who knows, Chinese, Indians. I don't know what else we're mixed with, but we are a mixed race, and but we call ourselves Filipinos. Anyway, if you like this episode, please listen for the other episodes that I have, and thank you very much for listening. And I will be posting. I'll try to be good. I will post more episodes. And anyway, if you'd like to email me for comments or suggestions, email me at homeofteeny@gmail.com. I do a lot of other things. I am a writer aside from my day job. I'm a writer, a content creator, and stuff like that. I have creative pursuits, and this is just one of my things that I do. And I might feature this in my YouTube, like have a day in the life of, a Filipino in America. Because other people might be curious. And if you're listening from outside the America, you're listening in the Philippines or somewhere in the world, yeah, we exist. Filipinos exist. And thank you very much. Bye bye.